Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRFBets race of the day for Saturday, June the 23rd, race number 9 at Thistledown. It's the $500,000 Grade 3 Ohio Derby. You can play it with your own DRFBets account. Sign up, get $100 in free cash. Learn more at drf.com/bet. Let's take a look at this field of 3-year-olds hoping to get their second half of the season off to a good rip-roaring start. And you can access Formulator past performances on the Race of the Day event page on DRF.com. Download them and handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post-position order. The number 1 takedown for the Luch folks. They would love to win, obviously, the Ohio Derby. A little home cooking here. Third last time out in the Murphy. 5th in the Tessio. This is a horse that has to improve a little bit.
Has to improve, I think, a lot to win this race. He's managed to win twice in his career. He won that first start for a maiden 20. I mean, it was an easy win for him, but it was for maiden 20. I don't know about you, Dan. I thought he got a little lucky when he won that race with Laurel 3 starts back. The big favorite in that race, bolted in the stretch. I don't know. I felt like that opened the race up for this horse. And his 2 races in Stakes Company just aren't going to get it done here.
Big step up in class even after that. Murphy, the runner-up, came back to finish 3rd in a starter allowance at Delaware with a 78 Beyer speed figure. The 2 is Flame Away, and Flame Away at 5-2. Obviously one of the horses to beat, one of the more versatile horses around. A winner on dirt, a winner on synth, a winner on turf, a winner on wet dirt. And last time out in the Kentucky Derby, his goose just got cooked chasing that fast pace. Don't hold that race against him. I thought his Bluegrass was a fine effort, but I have to admit, I'm a little worried about the 1 1/8.
Yeah, I am too. We'll see. It's funny because he just sort of feels like the horse. It doesn't really matter what you throw at him. He's just going to show up and he's going to run the best race that he can run. So I'll suspect that he'll do that in this race too. And I have no problem with him being the favorite in the race. I think he is the horse to beat. If I was playing multi-race wagers, I would definitely use this horse because I do think he's a good horse. But I'm not so afraid of him at 5-2 on the morning line.
Let's see what the Timeform US pace projector has to say. We know Flame Away has speed. They expect him to be on the lead, albeit with a fast pace up front. That could work against him. 1 1/8 is testing it just a bit. The 3 Lone Sailor, conversely, at the back of the pack in the Timeform US pace projector, and with that fast pace expected, it really could help. He rallied a little bit in the Preakness last time out, beaten 2 lengths. I thought that race set up very nice for him. Justify, of course, came back to complete the Triple Crown sweep in the Belmont. And you give this horse a fast pace, he's going to come running. I think 1 1/8 is fine for him. But at 3-1, I see what you're saying about Flame Away. I'm just not so in love with Lone Sailor trying to weave his way through this field at 3-1 that I want him at a short price.
I kind of agree with that too. It'll be interesting to see what he does. I like Lone Sailor as a horse. I've been a fan of his from the start. He was one of the horses in the Preakness. It was really hard to tell what was going on. You really couldn't see him through the fog and the camera angles they had to use. You had no idea where he was, and then they flash across the line and he's only a couple lengths behind, but it felt like that was the kind of race where you could make a run, the kind of run that he made in there. I think the setup's good for him, and I think he'll run well on Saturday. I'm starting to get the feeling with him that he wants to go a little shorter. I feel like he's the kind of horse who down the line, if Tom Amoss ever cuts him back and maybe goes a 1-turn mile with again, I'm really going to be interested in this horse.
Caloric, the number 4, is going to be a big price, stretching out 3 furlongs off a 4th place finish in the Tom Ridge Stakes. According to Timeform US, the Tom Ridge Stakes had a very fast pace that should have played well to Caloric, and he kind of passed some tired horses in the lane with the run. We've got a negative formulator fact. Don't let it deter you. This horse is 30-1 on the morning line, but over the past 5 years, synthetic to dirt, only 3%. A lot of question marks with this horse.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything to add to that. He has improved in his recent starts, and that's a good thing, but he's got to improve a lot to beat this field.
Title ready, no match for Axeman and the Sir Barton on the Preakness undercard over that very wet track. And while Axeman came back to bomb in the Matt win, the 3rd place finisher, Prince Lucky, one of 2 next out winners from the Sir Barton, came back to win the Easy Goer at Belmont with a 90 Beyer speed figure. I've always had a little bit of a thing for this horse, but I wonder if he's going to get burned up chasing the pace.
Yeah, I don't like the way the race sets up for him necessarily, but I do think he's one of those horses who's headed the right way, and he's not as exposed as horses like Flame Away and Lone Sailor, so maybe you get him at an okay price in this race. I'm not against using this horse somewhere, especially if he's going to be around 8 or 10-1.
Trigger Warning is another horse that figures to be close to the pace. He was chasing it last time out, those fast fractions in the Tom Ridge, and he kept right on going to pull off a mild 7-1 upset. Big Beyer of 88, which I question just a little bit, and his 2 route races have been kind of bombs.
Well, yeah, they've only tried to go long with him twice. They're also 2 races in Stakes Company, And he's just been terrible in both of them. I could never bet this horse.
Diamond King, the 7, I thought would be a little bit more forwardly placed in the Preakness, but I guess when Justify went out there with good magic, there was no way for Diamond King to get forward. He was overmatched probably to begin with. The sloppy track didn't help. This is a very game horse. He doesn't really have those big, sexy buyer speed figures, but he really wants to beat you. There have been races in the past where it looks like he's been beat and he fights back to win. I like his tactical speed. Does he really want the 1 1/8? I know he won the Tessio 2-back, but I thought he did that on sheer will alone.
I agree with that. I don't know that that's the best buyer speed figure I've ever run. I don't know that I feel like he improved with the distance. I think that he just found the right field that day and he got it done. So this is going to be a real test for him. And you're right. He is more game than anything else. I don't know that he has a ton of talent. He's a good horse, though, and he'll fight you if he's on the lead in the stretch. That's a good thing for him.
Machismo won a maiden race at Gulfstream this winter by the length of the stretch, and his connections then tested him in some very tough spots. He didn't run badly in the Fountain of Youth in his first start against winners, but kind of regressed in the Bluegrass. The Arkansas Derby didn't work out very well. Again, I think he's going to get a little bit of class relief here that helps. I think he has more of a versatile running style than people think. 20 to 1, there are worse 20 to 1 shots in this field.
Yeah, I don't have anything negative to say about him because he's going to be a big price in this race. I personally don't necessarily like any of his races, and he's not for me in this race, but at 20 to 1, I'm not going to argue with him.
I'm a fan of the 9 Kratos. I really like the way he sprinted home and won on April the 29th. He came back to win a 2-turn test in the Grade 3 Marine last time out. The problem is those races are over the Tapeta surface at Woodbine, and he has yet to set foot on dirt. He's by Patio Prado, who, while third in the Derby, was more known as a turf horse than anything else. The Speightstowns on the bottom can do anything. I like this horse. I like his tactical speed. And you know, at a price, you could take a chance with him to improve a little bit on dirt.
I agree with all that stuff. I mean, to me, this isn't a race that's, you know, sort of chock full of interesting sort of outside horses. This sort of horse is a little bit of an outsider that I'm interested in. If I'm going to take a shot with somebody who's going to be a real big price in this race, it's going to be him.
The 10 is Core Beliefs, and this horse in his first start against winners took on Justify and Bolt d'Oro in the Santa Anita Derby and just was no match for those horses. He then shipped east and was the favorite over Blended Citizen in the Grade 3 Peter Pan. Took a little bobble coming out of the gate, and the next thing you know, he was actually up front and being hounded by 3 other horses. He put each and every one of those pace foes away, and Blended Citizen, with the right setup, was able to come get him. That was a nice performance for Core Belief. So this time out, I think is sitting off the pace and in the clear.
Yeah, me too. At least I hope he is, because the pace feels like it's going to be too competitive for him, and I don't want to see him get locked up contesting the pace again. You know, he had the rail last time in the Peter Pan, so the options were limited. He's on the outside here. If he can just work out a little bit of a better trip, I think this is a great spot for this horse. I personally think he was best in the Peter Pan. He didn't wind up winning that race, but I think he ran the best race, and I like him in this race.
I think the 11 Dream Baby Dream's a little bit dirtied up, Mike. I'm not sure he's good enough to win a race like this. The Sunland Derby at this distance was a step in the right direction. To me, this is a closer that's going to appreciate this distance. The Arkansas Derby, the pace just really didn't unfold in that race. He really didn't have a chance. And last time out in the Sir Barton over that wet track that seemed a little bit speed favoring, just never got involved. I can make excuses for those 2 races, and with a fast pace, maybe he can pick up some pieces late.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I don't know if I feel like he's a better horse than Title Ready, the other Asmussen horse in here, but he might get a much better setup in this race than that horse will, and there's a real chance he jumps forward in the spot.
Last Drop of Wine, the 7, big stretch out in distance, only 2-turn start, no good. This is a former claimer with a miserable post position. He's tough to endorse.
Yeah, I don't like that horse.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Grade 3 Ohio Derby. We're both going with Core Beliefs in here. Core Beliefs on the morning line is 5 to 1. That's fair.
I'd take 5 to 1.
You're going to go 10, 5, 3, and 9. I'm going to go 10, 5, 3, and 9. You're going to go 10, 2, 3, and 5. In the Saturday DRFBets race of the day, the Grade 3 Ohio Derby. Again, you can bet it with a DRFBets account. Sign up now, get $100 in free cash. Learn more at drf.com/bet. Approximate post time for your race of the day, the Ohio Derby, 5:10 Eastern. Good luck.